Welcome back to the Good Business Witch podcast. I'm your host, Megan Winkler. I don't know why my own podcast name was so hard to get out, but it was. You know what? We're just rolling with it. We're just flowing with it. It is fine. Today, I am really excited to share some personal things with you here on the podcast. If you are watching on video, you will see that I have a notebook here with information and ideas jotted down. Give you a little ASMR. Hang on. There you go. If you're an ASMR person, it's a little audio and visual for you, I guess. Anyway, I thought that this would be a really fun episode to record for you for a couple of reasons. One is just so that you get to know me a little bit better. So whether you're a new listener to the podcast or you are, an old timer who's been with me the entire time, and because I know I have a few of you and I'm so grateful for you. If you are newish and you're catching up on podcast episodes, maybe start with the episodes that have kind of the fun, like green background on the episode artwork, because it was a little bumpy when we started. But that's the thing, right? Is like when you're doing something new in your business, you are going to have those bumpy starts. And it's just like, you just got to get out there and get doing it. So my design skills have definitely improved since 2019, as have my podcast and speaking skills. Thank goodness. Anyway, today I'm going to share with you my story, and I do have notes here with me. So if you're watching on video on YouTube, I'm looking down at my notes. Sorry about that. Anyway, the first thing I wrote down was, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And that's the other reason I wanted to share this with y'all today, is that maybe you're going to find a little piece of yourself in my story. And I know so many of you are just creative, boundless, intuitive, artistic people. And that you don't want to grow up, first of all, and you don't know what you want to be when you grow up either, right? It's just one of those things. So yeah, I've just decided that I'm going to be a multitude of things, because I contain multitudes, you contain multitudes. I can't remember where that quote's from, but there is a quote that says, I contain multitudes within me. And it's just so true, and it's so good. So then I was like, okay, well, let me jot down like all the things, right? Because you know me as the Good Business Witch. So you know me as somebody with an MBA, somebody that's been in business for like 15 plus years. Although I don't talk too much about like some of the earlier iterations of my business life. So I thought I would just kind of read and riff off of this list that I put together. So the first thing I wrote down was, I am a psychic. I am actually a medium. I often cannot see where a spirit is, but I've caught many of them on my camera. And as our phones have advanced and they have facial recognition, it kind of brings them to the surface. So it's really interesting. I have had some visits from spirits on the other side. I definitely have prophetic dreams. And that's actually how I figured out that I am in tune with my psychic abilities. I am clairvoyant, I am clairaudient, and I am clairsentient. When I was a teenager, I had dreams about places and people and things that I had never seen before, and I had no way of knowing where it was at. And then I would suddenly find myself in the context of it, like months or sometimes even years later. And I could tell you what was going to happen before it happened. And so that was the first inkling that it's like, ooh, hang on a second, what's up? And what goes along with that is my witchy nature. So I am a divination witch, right? So all the clairs are seeing clearly, hearing clearly, smelling clearly, tasting clearly, like all these things, right? And so that can be used in divination. And that's really divining, looking for messages from the spirit world, but also from our intuition, like that little voice in the back of your head, right? I'm just saying it now. I'm going to Tucson tomorrow. I'm recording this on Wednesday, coming out on Friday. I'm going to Tucson on Thursday. I have no apprehension whatsoever about the flight there, but I have to change planes in Denver on the way back on Sunday. And there's just something in me that's like, I normally don't do this. I normally do not worry about connecting flights or delayed flights or anything. And there's just like something just feels like something's going to happen. So I will keep you updated. It could just be anxiety. It really could, but it also could be intuition. So I'm documenting it here and you'll have to like follow along in my stories on Instagram to see what happens. So hopefully there will be no major delays. I'll be able to get back Sunday evening, and, recover Monday from my whirlwind trip. But yeah, so I'm a divination witch. I've also accidentally become an astrology witch. A client of mine calls me the most mathematical witch that she has ever met. So what is so funny about that to me is that I really am. I love science. I love figuring things out. I love studying the human condition. I was going to be a counselor or a therapist before I spent some time working for a foster care agency when I was in my early 20s. It was like 19, 20, 21. And I realized that I was far too empathetic for that. It was just really, really hard. And I was working for this foster care adoption agency, and we just had some really rough situations in which like mothers realized they couldn't take care of their kids anymore, or in some cases just didn't want to. Kids abandoned with friends or relatives that we had to swoop in and take care of. I did see some beautiful things too. Like I saw some infant adoptions that just worked so smoothly and were just so beautiful. So all of that is to say, I was far too much of an empath, right, for me to be a therapist. But the desire to understand the human condition is so there. So I actually went into a different field of study. I am legitimately a historian. I have a master's degree in military history with a concentration in American history. And my focus was actually on the use of propaganda and messaging and gender and race and terrorism during war. And so really we called it insurgent warfare. So it's insurgent warfare includes the use of terrorism. So my thesis was actually on the use of insurgent warfare and terrorism in the American Revolution. So at the time, there was one book on the subject, and me swinging in on my big old lady balls saying, yeah, the Patriots, they used terrorism during the Revolution. Everything you think you know about the Founding Fathers is wrong. Yeah, it took some gumption, and my advisor loved it. And then after I published my thesis, there were other documents that came out. I'm sure it's somewhere in some, I don't know, academic library. I do have a copy of it, and it would be interesting to publish that eventually, just for shits and giggles. So yeah, but my approach to history was really through the study of the people and the ways in which people interact with one another, and the psychology behind like why we went to war. Like, why was there this huge surge of men that came back from World War II and kicked the women out of their jobs when they came back from war? Like, what were the social implications? How did the women respond to that? Like, all that. So it wasn't so much that like I was really into the military part of it. It's that large military conflicts are one way to look at social trends, economic changes, policy changes, that sort of thing. So I can turn out on that like big time. I also have my MBA, which my MBA I got at Texas Women's University. And so everything that they did was very geared toward the female experience in business and in work. And my concentration is actually on women in leadership. So everything that I did was kind of with that tone of understanding like what women do in business, how we're challenged, and all that. I am also a mom. My son is a trans man and he is 19 and will be 20 in March, which is so crazy to me. I had him very young. I actually had him when I was married to my first husband, who was in the military, and we were living over in Tokyo. And my blonde hair, blue eyed darling baby, one of his first phrases was, I'm Japanese, which really baffled people when we moved back to the States. And yeah, because blonde hair, blue eyes. Anyway, he and we were the two musketeers for a while, and then we were three musketeers because we had our pug Daisy, and this was way back when my son was very, very young. I've been married 3 times. So my first husband and I got a divorce. I had a very quick marriage and soon divorce to a second man. And then I'm with Mike and have been with Mike for 13 years. And we are actually common law married, and we have the same last name. So everyone has just assumed from day one that we were married. The last name Winkler is our birth name individually. And no, we are not related in any way, shape, or form. It's just a weird, crazy coincidence. My brother's name is Michael. And my husband's name is Mike. And my uncle and my cousin are both also named Mike. And so it was just interesting. I'm like, oh, you're the fourth Mike Winkler that I've ever met. So it's interesting. So throughout all of that, Danny, my son, has been a constant, and we really resonate with those kind of mother-child movies and TV shows and such that show that relationship as a positive one kind of throughout the years. So before his transition, we really did identify it with kind of the Lorelai and Rory Gilmore vibe, because I also have a narcissistic mother. But yeah, so there's that. I'm also a dog mom, and I grew up with dogs. Had a few dogs as an adult, and right now I've got Trudy, and she is a little over a year old. She is a blue heeler, poodle and Labrador mix. So I'm thinking that there's like one of her parents was a heeler because she's like over 50%. Like she has so much heeler. And the other one was probably like a Labradoodle or something. I don't know, but it makes her very wacky, and she's just the best. And if you've been a long time listener, you know that before her was Pluto, the magic dog, and he is on the other side now, but he has always been, I think, one of my guides. He certainly is now. And there are times when I am feeling anxious or feeling sad, and I can feel him and his presence. And he usually comes to lie beside my side of the bed at night, or he is kind of back behind me on my left side. So that's usually where I feel him. So that's just kind of a fun thing. I am also a musician. I played violin for like 25 years from like 5th grade on. I taught violin lessons. I played in church bands. I know, imagine me at church. Imagine me as a gospel choir singer at church. Yes, it is real. It is a real thing. And from that, I lost my fear of singing in front of people. And so I love karaoke. I can be completely stone cold sober because I don't drink that much anymore. Completely stone cold sober. And I will get up, give me a microphone, give me a karaoke machine, we're going. So yeah, I'll sing karaoke on just ice water. I love it. I'm also neurospicy, and I didn't ever think I was neurodivergent or neurocomplex, which I heard recently. I never thought that. And then I realized, oh, all the things that I do, like that's not quote unquote normal. That's not something everybody does. So I totally get it. I get it. One of my previous businesses was Princess P Designs, and it was a kids decor business. And we actually, in the early 2000s and into like 2007, 2008, painted the wood wall letters. We would hand paint these kids' names. So we ordered the letters themselves and then the designs were painted. And oh my gosh, we had like a sports theme. We had a Noah's Ark theme, a zoo theme, a traffic theme, a farm theme, which was like my favorite. There was on these big fat letters, and I would do like a barn and chickens and horses and all this. And my style was always a little more cartoony. To this day, I can do little cartoon animals and cartoon items and all that, but it was all like there. We didn't use stencils. Like it was freehand. Like it was all good stuff. After that, things happen, stuff, all that. And my next business was meditation facilitation. So, a lot of times in like group calls, that sort of thing, I will invite everybody to take a big breath before we get started and kind of ground into our space. And that's kind of the remnants of that experience. And I loved being a meditation teacher. And I didn't know how to market and sell my services. So today, the work that I do in the Good Business Witch is really focused on helping people like myself who are multi-passionate, who come from a long and varied history of interesting things, who are creative, intuitive, neurospicy, just a little different out of the box, a little rebellious. I'm an Aquarius sun, so don't tell me what to do, but like give me a roadmap, please. Thank you. Because my Taurus moon really likes that. But people like me to learn how to market and sell their business, because I had a business fail. Like I did. And it's so important to get good work out there, especially right now. Like we need energy healers and yoga teachers, and we need people who are creating beautiful self-guided courses or Book of Shadows pages, or are, putting together ritual boxes or monthly subscriptions, that sort of thing. Like whatever it is, like we just need these nourishing things, these nourishing products, nourishing services in our lives. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm an extrovert. And for me, that looks a little different than maybe the wild, high energy extroversion that you might have in your head. Like if you're an introvert, I am one of those people who, when I am feeling kind of, ugh, and you know what I mean by that, I don't want solo time. I want to sit in like a busy restaurant or a coffee shop and just be around people. Like being in the energy of people helps to recharge me, being social in that way. So it's really great. Mike is such an extrovert. Like he makes me seem introverted, which is saying a lot. And so when we're out and about, he just kind of like gets to extrovert like crazy. And I can just kind of sit back and enjoy it all. It's just a beautiful thing. So I've often been called the introvert whisperer, because I am extroverted, but I understand that not everybody is. Let's see. And I have a passion for tacos. And I love true crime or kind of thriller stories, and even if they're not true crime, it's again like it's that human condition that is just so fascinating to me. I just absolutely love it. So yeah, that's me kind of in a nutshell. Like I don't want to talk your ear off, you know what I mean? And I just want to let you know about something coming up that is going to be so freaking cool. So on October 21st, through the 25th, I am hosting the Chaos to Calm Challenge. And it's 3 days to tame your marketing madness. So the objective of this challenge is to help you move through and away from feeling overwhelmed by too many platforms, help you stop spinning your wheels on Instagram, start getting leads and customers from your posts, maximizing your content using AI powered repurposing techniques. So we're not going to have AI write everything for us, but we're going to have AI help us make things better and repurpose content. And we're also going to be talking about automating your marketing. Because really we all want marketing that sells while we sleep, right? So you can just be making your coffee in the morning, get a little ding on your phone. Hey, I made a sale. So that'll be October 21st to 25th. That is a 3-day challenge followed by a couple of follow-up days and a celebration session on that Friday. So it'll be very relaxed and very just come as you are. It is $6 to join, and the proceeds for that will be donated to World Central Kitchen. World Central Kitchen is a charity that I have supported since 2019. They are on the ground anywhere there is a conflict, there's war, there's natural disaster. So they have been on the ground feeding people, just feeding anyone who needs a meal. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, they will be there for the aftermath of Hurricane Milton, because they always are. They deploy these groups of chefs and volunteers to actually come out, create beautiful chef-inspired, chef-created and cooked meals in bulk for people. And it's amazing. And they actually, if they're in a foreign country or in a very specific region and there's specific dietary needs or customs, they adhere to those too. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful charity. So $6 to join, and every day you'll receive the content right in your inbox. So you don't even have to tune into a specific call or time or anything like that. It is so easy breezy. So I would love for you to join. I'm going to drop that in the show notes. I'm going to drop it in the caption information on YouTube as well. And I've been sharing it already on my Instagram stories as of today on Wednesday. So come hang out and get all the content. Even if you can't participate live this week, I would love for you to come and receive the content and then finish it on your own time and your own schedule, because it is just so freaking valuable. So that's where to find that information. And I think that's it. I hope you'll have an amazing week. If you're listening to this on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, especially if you hear this before Saturday, the 12th, be sure to tune in to my Instagram account at the Good Business Witch. So at the Good Business Witch. And I'll be sharing content in my stories for the Witches Bazaar out in Tucson, Arizona with Inked Goddess Creations. I'm so excited. Anyways, I hope that you have a great next week, and I will chat with you in 2 weeks, because we have moved to every other week here on the podcast. And until next time, stay magical, my friends.